doing the live web chat. I'm Dave Haley from Psycroptic. Hopefully you can hear and see me. I've got a few questions here that have been submitted by some of you around the world. Have a look here. So, question number one is, what was my first ever drum kit? Well, I got my first kit when I was, I think I was 13. I begged and pleaded with my parents for quite a long time until they actually let me get a kit and bring it into the house. So the first kit was a Pearl Maxwing from this kit from the 60s. It was pretty beat up condition, but at the time I got it, it was the best thing in the world for me. I wish I still had it. I sold it so I could buy my next kit, but first ever kit was a Pearl, and I'm thankful enough to be actually endorsed by Pearl these days, so that's a very cool thing. I've got another question here, another drumming related question. It is, what pedals did I use for the Acasis album from the Amento and the Ruins albums Adam and Time and Spun Forth as Dark Nets? For those three albums, if I remember correctly, I used the Pearl Eliminator pedals. I hadn't yet switched over to the Axis pedals, which I use now and have done for the last few years, but those three albums were Pearl Eliminators. Still an awesome pedal, and I still, when I get the chance, I still use them today. Look at some more questions. You'll have to excuse me, I've got about 5 different windows going at the same time. Third question is another drumming related one. What is a good exercise to do to eliminate shin muscle burn while attempting fast double kick? The simple answer is there isn't any. The burn is just part of it. Learn to love it. Learn to love the burn. What you can do to eliminate it somewhat is ensure that you're completely relaxed at all times. It's a bit of a contradiction playing this sort of style of music and trying to keep relaxed, but yeah, you just have to find a happy medium, I guess. But the burn is just part of it. With anything, you don't get anything for nothing, so put the effort in and just suffer through it. Another drumming related question here is, do I ever experience forearm tendon soreness from blasting so much? Not really, no. There has been some points where I have suffered both tendinitis and carpal tunnel syndrome. That's when it occurred. It was right before a tour, so I was kind of freaking out a little bit. I'd never had any of the conditions before, and I didn't really know much about them. So I thought, this is it. I can't do it anymore. But I went to the doctor, and she was very, very kind, very helpful, and very informative. She explained to me that the condition was both carpal tunnel and tendinitis were reversible, and they were in early stages with myself. So she basically got me to go through what I've been doing differently and what all the potential causes of the condition were. So she obviously knew I was a drummer, and so we eliminated that. Well, I'd been doing it for years, so that wasn't the case. So we kind of narrowed it down to, it was actually a change in drumstick. I changed my drumstick size just prior, and I was doing a fair amount of computer work and graphic design at that stage. So I was doing lots of little mouse movements. So it was a combination of those two things, as well as an increase in the rehearsals due to the fact that we were going on tour, that were the contributing factors for it. So first thing I did was change my drumstick back, and I minimised my computer use just to the bare minimum, and yeah, it took care of the problem. It took a couple of weeks for it to subside, but while we were actually on tour, it went away of its own accord. So they're just a couple of things I keep in mind, to prevent it from happening in the future. Okay, so I've got a few more questions here. Got one here. Are we going to tour Mexico anytime soon? I hope so. If there's some promoters out there that can bring us there, we'll be there. I had the good fortune of travelling there mid last year. Beautiful country. I can't wait to go back. So just hassle your local promoters to get us over there, and we'll get there. Some more questions here. Have I got any funny stories from being on tour? Well, it's always a fun time. It's difficult to pinpoint one particular story because things happen all the time. And we always get asked, tell us some funny stories from the road, and nothing ever springs to mind. So I will have to write a few down, so next time people ask, I can bust out a cool story rather than just being boring and lame and saying that we don't have any. Some more questions from Logan. When do you guys plan on doing another US tour? Hopefully later this year. It's just down to scheduling, basically, and when we can fit it all in. So we love touring over there, but we all still work our day jobs, and it does make it a little bit challenging to fit in all the touring and working and family commitments. But we do as much as we can, more than we really should, but we definitely will try to get back over there this year at some point. I've got questions. One question here from Leonardo asking what my favourite metal albums of 2011 were. I was a little bit out of the loop last year, to be honest. I guess I went through a bit of a old school retro year and just listening to a lot of the old classics, but I did really love the new Psycroptic album. That was a killer album. Really like Norwegian band Hypothetical. I'm not even sure if that's how you pronounce it, but they're an awesome band. and the new promo tracks from the guys from Discarnate in the UK, they were killer. So I can't wait for that one. I'm really looking forward to the new Goat Whore album coming out. That'll be killer. And I really did like the latest Immolation EP. I think that's definitely their best work yet, and I really enjoy the new direction they're going in. And Absu, they put out an excellent album. That was a killer release. So yeah, there was a ton of really good stuff, but I'm still picking through it all. Every time I see something that I need to get in the music store, and make sure I go and pick it up. Okay, we've got some more questions here. Kelly just said, you can't not like Immolation, and that's correct. Okay, I've got one from Raphael. Besides metal, what type of music do I like? I'm just a music fan in general. Anything that gives me the tingle in the spine or gives me goosebumps, I'll listen to. But it's predominantly metal that gives me that feeling. So that would be my main genre I listen to. But yeah, I like a lot of ambient music, jazz, fusion, funk, rock, progressive. Anything that's cool, I'll listen to. So I'm a huge AC/DC fan. I listen to them almost every day. I really like a lot of the Dead Can Dance material. Bands like Ulva, Pimentola, lots of stuff. My iPod looks like it's a little bit schizophrenic, to be honest. Got to ask, what about Mexican beer? Coronas? No, Tecate. That's what I drink. It's a good beer. Can I say James LaGrange? No, I can't. Another question here is, who's my idol drummer? Well, there's a couple of guys that are in the scene at the moment that I really admire, look up to and aspire to. Guys such as George Colias. I'm fortunate enough to be quite good friends with George. He's one of the most inspirational drummers that the metal genre has ever seen. His talents are unsurpassed. His dedication, passion for the instrument, second to none. So he's a big, I'd say, I do look up to George a lot, and he has helped me a lot over the years. Another one is Derek Roddy, another fantastic drummer, really pushing the extreme metal realms and incorporating other styles within to create a very unique take on extreme metal playing. Awesome guy as well, and very inspirational and motivational character. Other drummers that I'm really digging these days are players like Benny Grab, Jojo Mayer, Johnny Rad, and then you've got your old, classic session guys such as Dave Weckl, Dennis Chambers, Virgil Donati, the usual characters. But every time I see a drummer, it doesn't matter who they are or how good they are, I'm inspired by them. And I learn from everyone. The young kid playing his first gig that plays a unique field, I'm inspired by it. It's like, wow, okay, that's really cool. I'm going to steal that. So I take inspiration from from wherever I can. But yeah. Oh, and I can't not mention Gene Hoglan and Sean Reinhardt, just because they're amazing players as well. Okay, so I've got more questions here. How did I get into metal? And what were my early inspirations? Well, I got into metal, I guess, kind of accidentally. I fell into it. I just remember when I was a kid, about 8 years old, 7, 8 years old, seeing the older dudes, in the city wearing their denim shirts and denim jackets and denim vests with these crazy pictures on them, back patches from Metallica and Slayer and things like that. And one day I saved up my money and convinced my mum to let me buy Metallica's Ride the Lightning. I think I was about 8 at the time, 8 or 9. So the first thing she did was take it off me. She read all the lyrics. There wasn't any naughty words in there, so she gave it back to me. And after pressing play on that album, life has been different ever since. Life changing. And I loved it so much, I just assumed that everyone listened to this style of music. So I lived in a country town with not many. I didn't really have anyone else that I could listen to music with. So I just started to buy more Metallica albums, and I get into other bands like Motley Crue and Slayer. Then a little bit later, bands like Pantera and so forth. It wasn't until I was about 14 or 15 I came across some of the classic death metal bands from Australia, such as Repression. I bought their self-titled CD when it came out because I heard a song on the radio and it just blew my mind. Like, this is the heaviest thing ever. And still to this day, they're one of my favourite bands. So yeah, after progressing from the thrash and the speed metal, I got into the death and the black metal stuff with mainly Australian bands at first, so like Blood Duster, Damage, Repression, Manticore, Crypt, and then later into black metal and things like that. So yeah, my taste is ever expanding, but I guess in my teen years, that's when I was exposed to the most styles of metal. I guess that set me on the path that I'm on now. Let's have a look at some more questions that have come through. Australian metal is absolutely killing it right now. Who else is catching your attention right now? Yeah, there's some awesome bands in Australia. One band that really blew me away that I saw on the weekend was Order of Arias, an excellent Melbourne black metal band. Then there's bands such as Dementa from Sydney. They're a killer band. I was a former member, but just due to time constraints, I can't play with them anymore. But they're excellent band. And then bands. I have to plug Ruins. That's a black metal band that I play in. Then we've got bands like Erebus and Throne, an excellent black metal band from Sydney. Of course, there's Nazul. There's some great up-and-coming Melbourne bands. The Mung, they're a great band. Bands like The Day Everything Became Nothing, Fuck I'm Dead, they're all killer bands. So there's a lot of great stuff for those who are outside of Australia. Yeah, check out Australia, the Australian scene. It's really happening at the moment. I've got a question here from Mike. Are we going to play the Summer Slaughter again? If we get an offer, yeah, we'd probably do it as a killer tour last time we did it. So it's just a matter of the offers coming in. If we can do it and manage it, we will definitely do it. That was probably my favourite US tour we've ever done for Summer Slaughter. So yeah, just hassle the promoters and maybe we'll be on it this year or next year. Josh wants to know what day jobs we have. Okay. Joe is a guitar teacher slash engineer. So he teaches guitar a few days a week and records bands. Cameron is an electrician. Jason is a commercial painter. And myself, I'm a drum teacher, and I generally dabble in other music business related areas, I guess. I help other bands out with administrative areas, as well as helping print merchandise, CDs, that sort of thing. So in the band, I'm probably the one who is primarily making my living from music, but on the flip side, I'm the poorest in the band. But that suits me fine. I can work from home. Okay, so we've got some new questions coming in. Have a look. What's it like working with Nuclear Blast? Awesome. Best label on it. Since I was a kid, I've always wanted to be signed to Nuclear Blast. Never thought it would be possible, but yeah, killer label. Everyone there is super professional. They're very supportive, and yeah, I haven't got a bad word to say about anyone from Nuclear Blast. So definitely support the label. Don't just download every new release that comes out. Make sure you support the labels that are supporting the bands. Get out there and spend the $10 to buy the album, or buy the t-shirt. Because without labels such as Nuclear Blast, smaller bands like ourselves I wouldn't be able to sit here and talk to you guys now. So it's a two-way street. Don't just think music is free. Do support the labels that are supporting you guys. Got a question here regarding the session job that I just did recently, which is playing on the new Arsebreed album. The recordings went quite smooth for the album. Drums were finished in 2 days. I'm never 100% satisfied with anything I do. There's always stuff that I can do better. But yes, I'm quite happy with how it all came out. Very, very technical album. It was very hard to learn because the music is not at all straightforward. There was a lot of different time changes, tempo changes, and I was focusing on still making it technical, but still making it groove at the same time. Hard album, but satisfied with it. So I'm really looking forward to hearing the final result. Okay. Is Bloodduster releasing an EP this year? Who knows? I finished recording drums for a potential full-length album midway through last year, but Bloodduster's a beast of itself, so we will wait and see. I'm one of the biggest Bloodduster fans there are, so I'm eagerly awaiting what's going to happen as well. Would I form a satanic funk band with Charles called Jesus Has No Soul? Maybe if I liked it. Who knows? Logan asked, what was the first death metal album I ever heard and got into? Yeah, that was the self-titled Repression album. Australian band. If you can find it, track it down and get it. It was released in 1995, and it still holds its own today. It's just a brutal, killer album. Mike wants to know, could I check out his videos and give him some feedback if I get a chance? I'll try my hardest, Mike. I'm pretty busy at the moment. If I get a spare 5 minutes, I'll definitely check it out. Another question here. Am I doing the drums for the new Disavow? No. That's first time I've heard of that. I know the Disavow guys, killer band, but I haven't been asked to do the drums. Yeah, the last album was performed by Roman Gullion from who now plays the Necrophagists. So track, if you haven't heard of Disavow, you want to hear some amazing and genre-pushing extreme death metal drumming, check out the latest Disavow album with Roman on it. It's killer. Another question here. Did you and your brother develop your musical taste skills in your respective instruments at the same time? Yeah, we did both start learning instruments at the same time. I guess I kind of forced Joe to pick up guitar when I got my first drum kit. I actually went out and bought him some Metallica tab books, and I said, well, you're playing guitar, so you got to learn these songs. So yeah, I kind of, the older brother, a bit, yeah, I guess stood over him a bit so I could have someone to jam with. And luckily he was into it, and we're still jamming now. Joe's tastes are probably even more wide and eclectic as opposed to mine. He's a very big fan of 80s progressive music, rock music. He's actually got a cover band that he plays in called Montage. He actually plays drums in the band, and they're just an 80s tribute band that performs all the classics, all the hits from the 80s. I've yet to see them play live, but all reports they're pretty kick-ass. So I sit more in the metal realm, and Joe sits more in the rock realm. So I guess that helps give Psycroptic a little bit of a different feel. If we were both into exactly the same music, we'd probably just be a clone band, play, just standard music rather than bring in some different and exciting elements in there. You'll have to excuse me, it's exceptionally hot here at the moment. I think it's at last check it was have a look, about 34 degrees at the moment. So for everyone in Fahrenheit, I guess that's around 95 to 100. It's hot. It's hot. Okay, I've got some more questions here. I saw the Joes in a project, Sunesis Absorption. Do you know how they're going to be doing the recordings? I have no idea. That's a question for Joe. I don't think he knows. Um, how old was I when I got my nose piercing? I was, must have been 28, I guess. It was on tour. I actually got it in Canada because I had grown quite a large beard and then shaved it off. Well, styled it into a pirate-looking moustache. So I thought, well, I might as well go the whole hog and get the nose ring to complete the pirate look. And I've just kept it ever since. Question here: what's the meaning of your band's name? Psycroptic doesn't mean anything at all. It was actually created by a friend of the band when we first started. We couldn't come up with a name, so yeah, it was a friend of a friend. He's like, "Oh, metal names are easy. I can come up with on the spot. Psycroptic." And at first we laughed. Yeah, that's cool. And it kind of stuck. It's like, well, we can't come up with anything. It does sound kind of cool and a bit different. So yeah, Psycroptic it is. And yeah, well, of course the name has stuck ever since because it is our band name. And I don't know where the character is that came up with the name. Last I heard, about 10 years ago, he was admitted into a mental asylum, so hopefully he's out there somewhere and still well, and not in the asylum. Favourite genre outside of heavy metal? I'd say rock. Yeah, classic rock. Yeah, AC/DC, Motley Crue, all that sort of stuff. Turbo Negro, I love Turbo Negro, yeah. Awesome band. And then, your old classic stuff, Black Sabbath, but, well, I guess they fit into the heavy metal realm. And, yeah, ambient and atmospheric stuff. Got a hello there from Ian from Sick Drummer magazine. Hi Ian. If anyone hasn't checked out Sick Drummer mag, do please check it out. It's words cannot explain how excellent a publication it is. And definitely support the guys from Sick Drummer mag. They're doing great stuff. Get yourself a subscription to it. Yeah, it's probably one of my favourite magazines that are kicking around now. So yeah, support the guys. They're doing excellent stuff for the heavier side of playing, the more extreme drummers and musicians. Okay, so I've got a few more questions here. Jackson says that's a badass picture on my wall. Yep, that's my lovely girlfriend organised it for me for my birthday. She sneakily did it behind my back, and yeah, it was an awesome surprise. And I'm very, very thankful for it. What will be more important, drum set or my girlfriend? I'm going to say both at the same time, and that's all I'm going to say. Just Joe demo songs with a drum machine first, or do we just jam them out? Joe demo songs with a click track, so I've got tempos to play along with and to work stuff out. So he might have certain drum beats in mind. I just do whatever I feel is going to fit the song, but when we get together and I play my parts through that I've come up with, Joe might say, oh, maybe we try something different here, or I had this beat specifically in mind for this riff. So we'll come to a compromise, but every song's different in the way we write it. Joe might say, okay, this song's got to be this way all the way through, or he might not have any idea what he wants to do with the riffs playing wise. So yeah, we learn riffs and sections, and then we get together and jam it and then put the structure together. But we don't really have a set formula because we want to keep changing, keep evolving, and doing things different. No one wants to hear the same album over and over again, so that's why changing up the songwriting, changing up the sounds, changing up the approach to playing, that's always very important to us. Josh wants to know who designed the band logo, who does the album art. Joe designed the logo back all those years ago, and yeah, it's been the same ever since. We've toyed with the idea of experimenting and maybe changing it up, keeping two logos, which is something we might do. Artistically, we like to change things up as well. We try to use different artists every album, just to keep it fresh and exciting for us. Artists we've used, Colin Marks from the UK did the upcoming album artwork, and we've used Raymond Swanland, he did Observant, Pyro Olifson did Symbols of Failure art, and a local Hobart artist, Bill Dean, did the first two albums, and we have also used a Greek artist, Seth. He did our live DVD artwork for the Initiation release. Some more. Question here. Ben wants to know if I was part of an all-star band, who would my ideal bandmates be? It's a good question. I'd probably pick all the members so I didn't actually have to play drums and I could just watch. That would be a very cool band. If I was doing that, I'd probably pick drums. It'd have to be either Gene Hoglan or Kevin Talley. Who else would be it? Bass player would be probably someone like Joe Payne or Jason Netherton. Guitar, well, I'd probably get Joe on guitar, because he's got a pretty unique riffing style. And vocals, I'd probably get Jamie, who used to sing in Damaged, who's an exceptional vocalist. And yeah, I would be the merchandiser for that band, so I could watch the band every night. I guess if I had to play in the band I would, but I'd prefer to watch it. Can I say hello, Hector? Yes, I can. Hello, Hector. Got some more questions coming in. How come we didn't choose Logan Matter to mix and master the album? Well, Logan did a great job on the last album, but I guess we really wanted to give Joe a chance to showcase his engineering, mixing skills, and I think we've got the best sounding record we've ever had. So it's, yeah, we were giving Joe a chance to get out there, because he does record bands. I guess he does want to go down that avenue and record more bands in the future and mix more bands. So it's, in that way, it's a good advertisement for him. Added to the fact it's a bit more logistically, it made things a lot easier for us to mix the album with Joe doing it, and we could do multiple mixes and get it to the point where we were super happy with the result. And that's a little bit difficult with external mixers, because we're here in Australia, we can't really afford to fly overseas and mix with anyone else. So they're the two key reasons, and yeah, when the album comes out, check it out. You won't be disappointed with the sound quality on it. It's world class. So Joe did an awesome job. Did Raymond Swanland do the artwork for the new record? No, that was UK artist Colin Marks. He's got some great stuff. Okay. Fuzz wants to know, how do I feel about the Stop Online Piracy Act, and how do I feel about sharing? I think the act is wrong. It's not the way to do things, and it's being driven by larger corporations. Don't get me started on a political rant, because no one wants to hear that. I've got my own opinions, as does everyone else, and I'm not going to force mine down people's throats, but I think the act in itself is wrong, and it's been promoted in it's been undertaken in a very underhanded and controlling manner. How do I feel about sharing? Well, at the end of the day, I think the main thing is music, getting the music out there, and if people can't afford to buy it or give bands some sort of contribution, then yeah, well, it has to be, it's a grey area. Part of me says sharing is the best thing in the world, and then another part of me is like, well, if you don't pay for certain elements of the music, or support the band, or buy merchandise in some way, it's very difficult for bands to survive. And labels such as Nuclear Blast, who constantly release awesome albums, and they're all about the fans. So I guess there's got to be a little bit of leeway. Don't download every single album. Support the artists in some way. So I think there has to be a better system, so sharing can still occur, and artists and labels can still sustain themselves. I don't know whether that's paying a surcharge for your ISP, for your internet, whether you pay a subscription service of a few dollars a month, and then royalties are passed on to the bands and labels. I don't know. There has to be a better model than it's occurring at this point in time. One of the more positive results with file sharing is people have access to a lot more bands and a lot broader styles. So yeah, definitely share. But if you really like something and you want to see the bands or the the filmmakers or the artists or whatever medium it might be. If you want them to continue, find some way to support them. So yeah, it's a grey area. But I think it needs to be. The next few years will be a turning point for file sharing. But the SOPA Act, no, that's not the way to go. That's blatant censorship, and there's more government agendas that are going on than are being promoted. Okay, what was the inspiration for the artwork this time? We just wanted to change, wanted something different. We liked Colin Marks. We liked his style of artwork and design. So we supplied him with the lyrics for the album, and we let him interpret them how he saw fit. It's very different from our previous releases, but it's a good thing. We did want a more sparse cover with a bit more white space, so it was a little bit more striking. So yeah, we're very, very happy with what Colin came up with. I actually just received. I'll go and grab it so I'll show everyone. This is I received this 5 minutes before I started the web chat. This is the Australian version of the album. It's a little bit different. Comes in a nice digipack with CD and DVD. So we'll have you'll be able to order this directly from us. So we'll be sending this one out. This is a limited edition release, so stay tuned on our website for that and on the Facebook. But you can pre-order the album directly from Nuclear Blast. There's links on the Facebook and on their website, and it will definitely be a lot cheaper than the limited edition. But go and pre-order it now, and so you're the first to hear it on the blog. Be the cool kid. Be the cool kid, because we definitely aren't. Will the new stuff be released on vinyl? Good question. Potentially. I hope so, because I like vinyl. We will just wait and see what offers come through. Vinyl is very, very expensive to produce, so it's definitely a love thing. It's something that we want to do. We just have to get the right offer for it, I guess. I've got a few new questions coming in. Okay. How do I come up with lyrics? I'm not sure. I watch a lot of sci-fi movies and TV shows. I read a lot of different sorts of books. And I love watching documentaries. So I might pick a certain idea, theme, or something a little bit crazy and outlandish, just write a few lines here and there. I never sit down and write a whole set of lyrics in one go. They might take me a few months or even years to write, because I'll just write a line here and there, go back over it, delete lines. I'll show my girlfriend to make sure my grammar is correct, and that sort of thing. So it takes a little while for the lyrics to come together. Jason actually wrote half the lyrics on the new album, which is the first time he's written lyrics, and they turned out great. so I'm not sure what his inspirations were. I haven't really asked him what his lyrics are about, because I guess it's more about interpretation rather than being told. So people are free to interpret my lyrics however they like, or Jason's lyrics however they like, and give them their own meaning. It makes it a little bit more personalised, and I guess that entitles you guys as the listeners to take ownership of the lyrics. So whatever you think they mean and interpret them to mean, then that's correct. Do I prefer touring the Europe or the Americas? Probably, I don't want to offend anyone, but the conditions in Europe are a lot better in terms of being looked after by venues and promoters and that sort of thing. So just due to the logistics of it, and not going through all the headaches, touring, I prefer to tour Europe, and Europe is a lot different from Australia. America, or North America, is very similar to Australia, so I kind of like the difference, getting out of my comfort zone in Europe. So that's not to say we don't like touring America, but touring America is a lot rougher than going out in Europe. In Europe, go out on a nightliner, so we sleep on the bus. We've got our bunks, but in the US we're in a van. We sleep in the van, and after 6 weeks, it's a little bit uncomfortable. So I'd say just from a comfort level, Europe is where I prefer. But North American and Canadian audiences are maniacs. They're great. So it's the balance, you know. Another question. Most drums are quantized and completely unreal. How do I feel about this? How do I feel about it if drums can't execute it live? Well, I'm in two minds about it. I don't like to do any of the quantizing, Pro Tooling, any of that sort of stuff, because I want it to sound natural and organic. So, and you know, I like to be able to replicate everything exactly the same live, or better live than in the studio. When I see drummers that can't execute what they have recorded on the album, part of me is a little bit disappointed, but another part of me is like, well, the album, if it sounds awesome on the album, then it's more about the artistic creativity. The drums become more of a manipulated sound source, so it can still, you know, I still love some albums that sound really quantized and overproduced, and it's obvious that, you know, the drummers probably can't do this, but it's still got its artistic merits. So I'm a firm believer in letting everyone do exactly what they want to do, just as long as it doesn't impact negatively on anyone else. So if you want to get in there and quantize your drums, by all means, do it. But if you want to put in the hard hours and actually be able to play what you record, then hats off to you. More questions. Could I possibly email a link where you can pre-order the Australian version? In the next couple of days, you'll be able to pre-order it from Psycroptic.com. So just keep checking back. I only got the stock arrived today, so we're still working out the logistics of everything. But you'll be able to pre-order it, I'd say, later in the week. But you can pre-order the Nuclear Blast version now. So get in there and do that. It's probably, for those in North America, it will be a lot cheaper for you guys to get it from Nuclear Blast, just because Australia is a very expensive country, and it costs quite a lot of money for us to post out albums. So unfortunately, the shipping price from Australia is quite expensive. Probably got about 10 more minutes I can chat for, so if you've got any questions, last minute questions, just send them through. I do have here, do I play any instruments besides drums? No, unfortunately I don't. I tried learning guitar at one point, but I sucked. What albums are spinning on my iPod? The latest Misery Index album, that's on repeat. That's probably one of the best, I guess you could call it extreme metal albums in the last 10 years. It takes off from where Dying Fetuses Destroy the Opposition left off from. So if you haven't got it, get the latest Misery Index album. It's unreal. Other than that, Goat Whore, Veil Attack, Immolation, and then when I'm jogging in the morning I listen to ambient stuff, like Dead Can Dance or Burzum or something like that. Do I think we've reached the potential as a band, or is there always something more to strive for? There's always something more to strive for. If there wasn't, we wouldn't continue. So yeah, we can always push it. We can always do new and different things. There's still a heap of places that we haven't been as a band, played live, that I'd love to go to. There's still a lot of things musically we can do. So yeah, we've got heaps more to go. Okay, so I've got about 5 minutes left. Are there any metal festivals I'd like to play? I'd really love to do the 7,000 Tons of Metal cruise. That sounds like an awesome time. Of course, playing the European festivals is always great. There's heaps of festivals there that we haven't played. Wacken, Metal Camp, and then you've got your Download Festival from the UK, Bloodstock. There's heaps. I'd really like to play Soundwave here in Australia. That's great. It's a huge metal festival. Lots of festivals. We love playing it, so if there's a festival we haven't played, then we'd love to do it. A couple more questions, and then I've got a bail. Favourite bands we've toured with? Black Dahlia Murder. Those guys are awesome. And good friends of ours. Cephalic Carnage, the same. They're awesome guys. Had great times touring with them. Touring with Dismember was awesome. Touring with Cannibal Corpse, it's a dream come true. And then, touring with our friends in like Silosis or touring Diamenta, touring with Discarnate, that was killing. Keep of Khaleesi. Just about every band we've toured with, we've loved it. So, yeah. It's hard to pinpoint the favourite band. Probably the most memorable tour we've done thus far was the Summer Slaughter in the US, because it was huge crowds every day, heaps of cool bands to hang out with, party with. Yeah, but we're always looking forward to the next tour and the next band to hang out with and have a good time with. What do I think about the popularity of the so-called djent style these days? Calling it djent doesn't make any sense to me. It's like calling a style of music kabang. You know, the sound a drum makes. It's lost on me. You know, there's some cool bands that are doing this so-called style, but it's nothing that Sugar weren't doing 10 years ago. And it definitely isn't. Doesn't need a name like djent. Just call it heavy music. You know, if you want to call it something, just call it metal or call it heavy. But calling it the sound of a guitar riff, it's a little bit. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too old and don't get it, but it doesn't really make sense to me. What genre would I put Psycroptic in? Is another question. That's not for me to judge. That's for you guys. I don't have any idea. We just play extreme metal, I guess, or metal, or heavy music, whatever you want to call it. A couple more questions. If I was stuck somewhere and could only listen to 3 albums, what would they be? Probably Battles in the North by Immortal, The Inexorable by Angel Corpse, and let's say Ride the Lightning by Metallica. But you ask me tomorrow and the albums will change. Another question, any triggers other than my bass drums? No, I only trigger my bass drums. I don't like the sound of triggers on anything else but bass drum. Everything else is natural. If anyone wants to shoot a last question in, they can, but other than that, I'll have to head off and take care of day-to-day business. So yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in and watching me fumble my way through the live chat, blabbering on. I'm just waiting for the one last question. It will be very embarrassing if no one sends it through. My internet updated. But yeah, in closing, we'll be touring Europe as of we start next Friday with a month-long tour with Origin. So for all the European fans out there, make sure you come along. And the last question is it expensive touring America? Yes, very, very expensive. Before we even play one note, we're up for probably about $15,000 to $20,000 before we even got there. So very expensive, but yeah, we want to come back as soon as we can. Cool. Well, that's it from me. Thanks very much for everyone for sending the questions in and being interested in Psycroptic. Check out the new album when it comes out in a couple of weeks. Pre-order it now from Nuclear Blast, or in the next couple of days from psycroptic.com. Thanks guys.